It would not have been possible to produce all of the sessions and content for Punchback Print and bring you all of this content for free without the help of our amazing sponsors. So without further ado, here is a quick word from one of them.
The first droplet of ink ever discharged, so the legendary tale goes, happened when a lab technician accidentally brought the needle of an ink-filled syringe into contact with a sizzling soldering iron. The resulting jet of colour that hit the lab desk resulted in a brainwave. Today, the inkjet printing market is valued at £56 billion.
Welcome to this talk today, a route to added value with Sarah Kilcoyne from Route 1 Print, which is part of the Bluetree Group. So, in an increasingly competitive industry, printers need to find a way to get noticed for all the right reasons. Print quality has never been faster and prices have never been cheaper. So what is it that you can do differently? This session with Sarah is going to explore that exact question. With the market becoming more and more homogenous, your customers will be looking for where you can add value beyond the standard offering. Sarah has been a key member involved with the growth and evolution of Bluetree and Route 1 Print, and she has some really fantastic insights into the industry and how you can work together with organizations such as hers to improve the value that you offer to your customers and your uniqueness. So I'll now hand over to Sarah. Sarah, thank you very much and welcome to Punchback Print.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. My name's Sarah and I work for a company called Route 1 Print. We are part of a bigger company called the Bluetree Group. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about Bluetree and Route 1 Print and what we do, and then I'm going to get straight into it. Bluetree was established in 1989 as a screen printer in Rotherham, is in South Yorkshire, and over the years they invested in some digital technology. Meanwhile, in 2010, Instant Print was founded in a small office above a car dealership in Newcastle with a couple of office printers. Fate brought us together, and in 2012 we merged to spark one of the fastest growing print businesses in Europe at a time when overall demand for print on paper was declining. In 2012 we also launched the Route 1 Print brand, and both of those brands now sit beneath the Bluetree Group umbrella. Let's get to it then. Enough about me and what we do. Value. So we hear the term value quite a lot. You have to add value, your clients want value, but there's no hard and fast rule as to what that is. I always hear the term, it's hard to add value to a business card, but is it though? Because when you look at companies like Moo, that's exactly what they're doing. So I've got a quote here that I read, and I use this quite a lot. I really like it. So you can compete on price or quality, but it's usually hard to compete on both. So how do you win and wow customers if you're the most expensive option in the market? Well, you offer a premium service that adds more value to your customers than they ever expected. If a customer can quickly buy flyers from an online printer, then why shouldn't they? Why should they come to you? Well, you can offer a solution that online printers can't. What's important is identifying and using that difference between your business and online counterparts in order to compete. What I'm going to talk about today is how specifically suppliers can add value for you, and how as a reseller you can add value again, because ultimately a reseller is only as strong as their supplier, and the supplier is only as strong as the clients that are buying from them. It's very much a give and take system, and one will not exist without the other. So let's start with suppliers then. How can suppliers add value? The first thing that your suppliers generally will have is scale. Economies of scale, which gives them much greater buying power for ink, paper, packaging, and all sorts of raw materials. So if you are a supplier and you're struggling with that economies of scale and you're struggling with your buying power, why not consider condensing your offering of papers, for example? Buy more of certain papers and you'll get a better price. That's a really, really simple one. Just reduce your offering across the board. Yes, that's going to cause you a little bit of short-term grumbling, but you need to make sure that your research is there into which ones you're going to keep. You need to offer a really good alternative, and communication is key. Make sure you're communicating clearly and early on to your customers that it's going to be changing. Feel free to keep your high-end products, but make sure they are at high-end prices and market them as specialist. The next thing that comes along with scale is investment. So the really popular suggestion there is invest in new machinery. But admittedly, that's quite hard to do at the moment. You're doing products day in, day out, and usually your investment would go on new kit, new systems. It's all about getting marginal gains. But with the economy as it is at the moment and the current uncertainty, it's not always that easy for people to do. So what I would say is, if you don't have monetary investment, invest in your team, invest in training, invest in engagement. Knowledge really is key. If you've got an upskilled and engaged team, they will do so much for your business. You're highly skilled in the areas as you do it really frequently. It's going to give you much greater efficiencies. Don't try and cover too many different product types. Focus on doing your bit and doing it really, really well. And that's how you'll get great. It's how you'll get greater scale. The next one is technology. So there's a number of different ways you can push technology. The first one, and I'm going to keep coming back to this, is efficiencies. You're doing this day in, day out. You need to be efficient. If that's through a process, it could just be you all getting your heads together in the office and thinking, right, what are we doing here that we shouldn't be doing? I've seen companies where they've put, sorry, it's a fly. I've seen companies where they've put pedometers on their staff to see how many steps they're doing and try and work out a way of reducing the amount of steps. Because, you know, if you're needlessly taking a job from one side of the factory to the other, it's just going to add time and ultimately cost to it. So it could be something really simple like a process. It might be that you can invest in some workflow or different technology in order to make it more efficient. Even something like an electronic job ticket, that's going to make things a lot easier. How many times have you put your paper job ticket on the pallet and you've gone back and it's not there? You've got to go and print another one. Has there been any changes? Oh God, I hope nobody put a note on there further up that I need to know. Whack it on a system, make it electronic, make it easier for people to get it up to date with that sort of information. Things are moving really quickly and technology is becoming so important to the buyers. Another technological edge you can have is by colour management. A lot of the big printers now, a lot of the medium-sized printers have got colour management. There's things like GMG, Fiery, there's all sorts out there on varying different budgets. But you need to be able to ensure that your colour is going to be fairly consistent. Anybody that tells you that they can make everything the same colour is lying. That's not possible. They can bring the tolerance way, way in, and yes, it might appear exactly the same, but you're never going to get across all different processes an exact match on colour. What you need to be able to do is confidently give your client a set of flyers, posters, business cards, and make sure that when they lay them out on their table at their exhibition, that it looks consistent. Suppliers are also going to add value through having their own systems or dev team, or maybe even a systems or dev worker that they deal with. It doesn't have to be employed by them, they can be freelance, but they're going to be looking at building a reactive website, for example. You need to make it really easy for people to order from you, especially with there being so many similar companies out there. At the same token, can you make it easy for your client to get in touch with you? We offer things like phone, email, web chat, but you know, can you create an app? Can you do something a bit different? Is there an account area? We get so much feedback that people like to self-serve, not on everything, but there's a lot of things where people would rather just be able to self-serve. That's going to be minimal transaction costs for both you and them, which again is going to pass on a cost saving. And finally, API. So this is a bit of a bigger one. Does require quite a bit of investment in your team. There's quite a lot of understanding in there, but as a technological push, that's definitely one that I would encourage. If you can make somebody understand the benefit of an API or some sort of integration, even something that's a lot more off the shelf, you know, it doesn't have to be you building something bespoke for them. What about looking into companies like vPress, like the numerous other web to print software companies that are out there? Put something like that in front of them, make it easy for them to order from you, make it difficult for them to move away. And really, when you're doing that product for them and you're doing it well and it's easy for them to order, why would they want to move away? The next bit is clear proposition. You need to make sure you are transparent, explain your offering. Like I said at the beginning, if you're gonna try and scale and you want to bring everything into standardized papers, be transparent with that. Explain your offering. If you're not, what's your edge against the competition? Are you a specialist in certain fields? If you've got a bit of kit that somebody else hasn't got, can you do something that somebody else can't? We need to be talking about that. Are you flexible? Do you have set products? Is there a bit of a leeway? Another thing that we do is white label. We talk about that all the time on Route One Print. White label. It's something that means that our clients can confidently order from us and get it delivered to their end customer without any worries. Is there going to be any flexibility? Do you have any customization or flexibility, or are you Amazon? You know, have you got to go on and pick your product and get it delivered to your door, or can you call up and say, oh, is there a possibility of doing this? Can we change the size? Can I have a different quantity that's not available on the site? Just make all that really clear, because if you are going to be a bit more flexible and it's not on your site, people probably aren't going to get in touch with you. At the same time, if you are going to be really, really rigid, you might as well put it on there to reduce your amount of traffic coming in, asking questions. And the last one, which I think is definitely more important for your supplier than for your reseller, but price and turnaround. So you need to be as clear as possible with your prices. If you can get your prices up front on a website or on a Facebook page, that's even better. We tend to find that if people are comparing, and I'm guilty of this myself, if I want to order something, I'll have a look on a couple of different websites to find whereabouts the price is. If somebody's got a website where I've got to call up, I'm a little less likely to do that, because there's so many options out there where the price is there. And you need to get your prices as low as comfortably possible. So we aren't in the market of trying to sell things to people where you aren't going to make any margin. That's not going to work. But you need to be as low as you possibly can be comfortably. And you're going to do that through your scale, through your technological investments, through sharing with people a clear proposition. Your suppliers are also going to add a lot of value, because generally they're going to work 24/6 or 24/7. You know, they might have little to even no shutdown on things like bank holidays and Christmas, which is going to make sure that you can keep the business going for your end user, for your reseller. And that's suppliers. So what we're going to move on to now is, how about resellers adding value? So I suppose, first of all, you need to establish whether you want to be a supplier or whether you want to be a reseller. There are plenty of people that sit in that in between. They supply, but they're also reselling. They might have a limited production base. They might be looking to expand that. They might be looking to close that down and just turn into a reseller, because there's a lot of competition within the supplier printing market at the moment. So how, as a reseller, you can add value? I could go on. I've put 6 bullet points on here, but I really could go on and on and on about this. But Brendan has told me I've only got 20 minutes. So I've tried to keep it to the core ones, but this really is an endless list. So first of all, providing expert advice. So you've got a greater and much more frequent touch point with your client than your supplier will. Don't just take the specification, ask them, what are they wanting to achieve? What do they want this piece of print to go? Where's it going to go? How is it going to be used? How long is it going to be there for? Explain to them the benefit and the limitations of certain approaches. Explain how additional products might complement their existing order. Look over their artwork for them. Has it got spot colours? Do they know what a spot colour is? Do they want to pay for a spot colour? As you gain new customers and ask them questions, you can educate them to make better use of the products that you're providing. They will become your salespeople. If you can sell to them, they can sell internally to their customer, to their company, sorry. They're going to see the value in it. They're going to see the value in you, and everybody's ensuring that it's being used correctly and achieving maximum ROI. If they're using these products correctly, they get a really good ROI from it. They're going to come back, so they're going to think, wow, that really worked. Second one, presenting the final product. So I always think this, like you packaging, like I mentioned earlier with Moo. Essentially, you've got a business card that could be ordered from Moo, it could be ordered from Instant Print. Moo are putting it in this fantastically packaged box. It comes to you in a really nice way, and they charge an absolute fortune to it. That's fantastic. You need to be doing things like that. But it isn't just the way the packaging looks. It's also about being able to put together a bundle with other items from other suppliers, things that you might not necessarily think to put together. So could you send out a packet of business cards with a personalised pen? You're not likely to get both of those from one place, not a very good version anyway, but you can certainly order a set of high quality business cards, a set of high quality pens. You can put them together in a box that's come from, supplier C, and present that to your client in a way that they can't buy. They can't buy that online. premium packaging certainly comes into it, and things like labelling requirements, just, you know, the normal box that your supplier is going to send out, put an extra box, put an extra label on it. Do they want to know the product that's in there? Do they want a little sticker showing a thumbnail of the artwork? Is it going into a warehouse where it requires booking in? These are all the sort of things that you're going to get, quite frankly, the computer says no sort of answer from your traditional suppliers. And that's going to be a stumbling point for your client, which means they're going to come to you because you can do that. Things like pack and collate, assembling, like I said, bundles and things like that. Next one, extra service levels. So it's possible for you to differentiate yourself, not only by providing a really high level of service, but also putting levels within it. So the levels based upon someone's size of business or frequency or even the value of the orders. So you might want to have a gold or a platinum service that people might qualify for when they hit a certain spend. They might qualify for that when they make a certain amount of orders. Or even they might be willing to pay for that and receive benefits when they do business with you. That can be things like free delivery upgrades, a dedicated point of contact when they call up, they always speak to the same person in the office, or a quicker production turnaround. Just upgrade them from, you know, 3 to 4 working days, you're going to put them on a 2. I've also seen people do a client of the month. So that's complete with like a blurb about them and the company and a photo, which is all free advertising, and a small voucher to use again for future purchases. You'll have other people come in and think, oh, how can I get on there? Or, you know, is it a newsletter? How can I get on the newsletter? I want to do that. Next one, flexibility. So like I mentioned before about packaging requirements, or even providing other marketing collateral. You could send an unfinished sheet from, you know, your big commercial printer to a specialist finishing house, or you might be able to finish it in-house. It can give you a product, a specification that falls outside of the norm of the normal commercial printers, while still maintaining a cost saving because you've done the print on that side already. The next one is locality. So you're able to get in front of your client. You can show them different stock options. You can physically get them to feel it if you're a shop when they're going to come in. You can show them samples of previous work and manage their expectations. You know, what does the colour look like? Have you done anything like that previously? You can talk to them and just give them that real personal touch. We all know that people buy from people, and it's a lot easier to build that reputation face to face. Your locality means you can create a local Facebook page. You can put your location in there. You can ask people to leave you feedback or tag you in their print, get people excited about using you. And then the last of the 6 that I've got is one of the similar ones from supplier, and again, that is technology. And this is going to depend on the scale that you are. Like I said, you might be lucky enough to have a development department. You might just use a freelance developer. There's plenty of resource now where you can get in touch with newly graduated developers that are looking for case studies and looking for something to get the teeth into. You don't have to go to these big companies. But could you build a site for your client if they're ordering from you really regularly? If you've got a big end user that's one of your clients, you need to make it easy for them to do it, because you can guarantee they'll have 10, maybe 20 different people knocking at their door saying, come on, give me your work, give me a go. If you can build them a site, they're going to think, well, why? Because I've got a really good site, I can order everything in one place, I know what it is, it's dead easy. Put something like that in front of them. Or what about an artwork template? Can you give them something where they can create their own artwork for new starters? Can you automate their orders? Are they placing their orders in a certain way that you can just integrate in with? Or can you invest in an off-the-shelf solution, again, like VPress? Give them something that can become a one-stop ordering portal. So they can place the print on there that you can get from your commercial printer, stationery, they can order cleaning products. You know, if any company is able to take orders, you can put them on a platform like that. Merchandise, they can order the toilet roll, the business cards, and a couple of new uniforms for the new starters they've got coming next week, all in one go. And you know that it's going to be all in that portal. It's very self-serve. Why would they not want to do that? That being said, not everybody does. Some people would rather come in and speak to you face to face, but that goes back to that locality and that service. You need to know your buyer, you need to know who's coming in, you need to know what they want, and really, really build that relationship. I cannot stress that enough. Ask them what they want. I know that was quite brief, but that for me are the key points. Like I said, I can talk about this for hours, and if anyone does want to contact me, that's completely fine, because I will chew your ear off. But I suppose if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, all right, well, what now? So the really simple one is to identify where you are. Are you a reseller or are you a supplier? Do you have a desire to stay as a reseller? Do you have a desire to stay as a supplier? Like I say, there's plenty of suppliers now that are expanding their machinery, they're expanding their finishing equipment, but there's also a lot of people there that are thinking, well, I am a reseller and I've got my own bit of kit, but there's all these big guys out there that can offer me really, really good prices and turnarounds on print. I know what I've got to do with my bit. Maybe I should move into one or the other market. So I think it's really important to identify where you think you sit before you make any other steps. Once that's done, you need to be able to identify, if you're a reseller anyway, a reliable supplier base. You want that supplier base to be wide enough that it's going to cover most of the bases, but you want it small enough to appear specialist. Because let's be honest, are you going to go and buy a business card from somewhere that's selling fence panels? I think it can undermine a little bit the quality of what you're doing if your offering is too wide. You need a handful of really good suppliers with a small amount but little overlap. You don't want to be managing lots and lots of suppliers. You want to know that these are the best guys for these products, these are the best guys for these products. You don't want backup after backup. Yes, it's good to have something to fall back on in case one of your suppliers is really busy, but you want to keep that to a minimum. If you've got a manageable supplier base and you can place work regularly with all of them, it means you're going to be more familiar with them, they're going to be more familiar with you. You'll be able to form a much stronger relationship and there'll be more support there when you need it. So secondly, you need to focus on your core strengths. So what are you really good at? Why do people choose to order with you? If you're not sure, ask them. What do you think your USP is, and can you expand on that? Is it that you're really, really good at doing business cards and you can do a really, really good spot UV on a business card? You know, that's your specialism. Right, we'll start thinking, can we do foiling on a business card? Can we put that business card in a different box? Can we pair that with another product? How are people getting their artwork to me for that business card? Do I need to start offering artwork services? Do I need to start recommending artwork services? Can I build templates with the technology that I'm investing in? Think about what things you can offer relatively easily and look at other people in your space and what are they doing. Because to a certain extent, you want to make sure that, not copy, but you're mirroring similar people within your base, because it's good to know that you're covering that off in case somebody has got another reason for going elsewhere. But you also want to diversify. You don't want to be a carbon copy of everyone else. There's got to be something there that you're doing that makes you stand out. And then finally, you need to apply and assess that. So apply a handful of changes and assess how they're being received by your client base. Is there anything else that you think you could do? Do you need to tweak it? Have you launched something and it's been a complete flop? Because I tell you, we've done that and it's fine. It's fine. What's popular? What's not as popular? Ask people, ask for feedback. Like I say, get your Facebook page up there, get your LinkedIn going. Get that feedback, try and get as many recommendations, even if it's negative feedback, even if people aren't placing work with you because you're a bit too expensive. Explain to them the value in what you're doing. Are they not winning the work themselves? That's fine, but at least you know that's why you've not won that work. And then just keep reviewing the process all the time. Don't let it slip. Look back at those bits. Are you still presenting the final product to them in the best possible way? Are you still being flexible to an extent? Are you still allowing people to come in and speak to you and order in the way they want to? Have you got any more investment that you can be doing? And again, that investment doesn't have to be monetary. It can be training. There's loads of resources out there where you can train people. There's blogs that people can just pick up and read through. There's all sorts of sources. We're working on a glossary at the moment of frequent terms, some of them that don't even apply to most of the commercial printers, but just send people out there and get them to build that knowledge and engage them in the print industry, get them excited about print. Pass the buzz on, it's fine. Everyone likes print. And I suppose that's probably it for me in terms of this presentation. So I hope it's covered off what you wanted it to do. I'll admit it's quite difficult to do so without an audience, but I hope you enjoyed it and thanks for listening.
Great. Well, thank you so much for that, Sarah. That was really enlightening, incredibly interesting. And I think your passion and your zeal for the industry and trying to help other printers in the industry find their value and understand how to deliver that to their customers is very clear. So one of the kind of first questions that I wanted to give to you is that it's a phrase, it's an acronym that has come up a lot more in recent months, especially as we moved into COVID, and that is API. So a lot of printers, maybe if they haven't done integration or don't use web to print, who don't have that facility, are still using a more analog process to interact with their customers and get orders in. What is an API and how does it work?
So an API, on a really basic way, is passing information from one system to another, and your API allows you to do that. It's almost like the train that takes you from A to B. And there's a number of different ways you can do it. It can be very complex and bespoke. It can be very, very simple. It's the way that you order the product from our Route 1 Print website and we get it onto our MIS system. The API does that middle bit. It translates the information in a way that is acceptable for both parties. I think it's important for people to be aware of APIs. I don't think it's always essential, depending on your client, how they're wanting to order. What it does enable you to do is pass the correct information backwards and forwards between these 2 points. So client goes on and places an order, we accept the order, it goes through production. While that's happening, it's going to send updates back over here to say, oh, your order's in production, oh, your order's been dispatched, here's your tracking number. It's very, very user-friendly and it's very, very self-serve. If you are a reseller and you wanting to make use of an API, there's all sorts of developments in the market now. Different companies are at different stages with it. But ultimately, if you've got a website yourself, it might be a really, really basic site. Quite a lot of them we get are WordPress or Shopify sites that somebody's, you can sort of, even I could put one of those together, I reckon, with a little bit of help. You can integrate APIs for pricing. You can integrate APIs that will pull your spec through. So you have your product on the website, it'll pull through our price as an example, with a slightly inflated price. So you can pass that on to your client. And if somebody orders it, it'll send it over to us. So if you're in a meeting or if you're on holiday, you can leave your website up and running, people can order through it and the products are going to come over to us. We're not waiting for, it's not like an email in a mailbox where you're going to send an email over and it's going to sit there until somebody does something with it. The point of the API is to move the information freely.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for your time. I hope everyone on this session has enjoyed a route to added value. If you would like to get in contact with Sarah, you can do so via her speaker profile on the website, where her LinkedIn details are. So you can connect with her on LinkedIn and follow her up with that way. Obviously, you can get in contact with her via the Route 1 Print website. So Sarah, thank you again for your time, and I hope you all have a great day.
No worries.